Tuesday the 26th of November was the day of the Netherfield Ball. The week prior had been miserable and wet, and the country lanes around Longbourn were thick with mud. When the day came and the weather lifted, the Bennet sisters had all day to prepare. Balls began late in the evening, sometimes as late as 9 p.m, and a break in the rain meant time for much-needed fresh air, but muddy petticoats were an inevitable consequence. As dusk drew in on that November evening, it was time to begin the final preparations. This day gown is made from a printed cotton muslin, dyed using the madder-based turkey red, which originated from the Levant. The gown's full front covers the front fastenings of the gown, and the bodice unties at the front and then slips off like a coat. Elizabeth Bennet's muddy petticoats must have been a constant trial for the maids of Longbourn. The gown's neckline was filled in with a chemisette during the cooler months, and the petticoat, which often had straps rather than a full bodice to minimise bulk, was worn on top of stays which were designed to lift, separate and enhance the bust, not reduce the waist. Leather ankle boots, ideal for brisk walks in the Hertfordshire countryside, were removed, and damp and dirty stockings were replaced with a freshly laundered pair and secured with silk ribbon garters. New shoe roses, fetched by proxy in the days prior to the ball, had been secured to silk slippers. The sheer muslin of the ball gown required a bodiced petticoat, which fastened at the back, making the assistance of a sister or a maid indispensable. The spotted muslin gown also has a fall or apron front. First, the ties are secured under the bust, which keeps the back of the gown snug to the body. Then the linen lining panels are pinned into place, further supporting the bust. Pins had been a fundamental part of women's dressing routines for centuries, and women were adept at nimbly positioning pins to avoid injury. Sisterly assistance was required again to tie the skirts up and into place before the apron or full front was pinned or buttoned to cover the front closing of the gown. Elizabeth Bennet dressed with more than usual care that evening. The Bennet sisters were unlikely to own expensive diamonds, and instead chose from coral, paste or pearl adornments, possibly borrowing from each other. Clean, fresh gloves were an essential accessory for a ball, and were usually made of fine kid leather. On a cold November evening, a cloak or silk mantle was essential for the chilly carriage ride ahead. And with that, it was time to pick a fan and head to Netherfield.